The Republican Party is at an inflection point. Its 2024 frontrunner, Donald Trump, is damaged goods. A New York jury found him liable for defamation, and he awaits trial on a 34-count indictment involving alleged hush money payments. His campaign coffers are dwindling as a result of a reported $40 million in legal fees. His former vice president, Mike Pence, says Trump relied on the advice of crackpot lawyers. Many of those lawyers are themselves under indictment for their roles in the alleged Trump plot against democracy or are named in the indictments as unindicted co-conspirators. The latest Quinnipiac poll shows that 54% of Americans think Trump should be prosecuted on the federal charges, compared with 42% who don't agree. The poll also found that 64% view the charges as very or somewhat serious. John Bolton, Trump's one-time national security advisor and a rock-ribbed Republican, warns fellow Republicans, "Think about the potential that if you vote for Donald Trump, by the time we come to our convention in August, he could be a convicted felon. It could be catastrophic for the Republican Party." The right-leaning National Review, founded by arch-conservative William F. Buckley Jr., writes, "Trump is already an all-consuming presence in American life, and we haven't seen anything yet. His criminal trials will be the media event of this century." Republicans need to reckon with this reality, and the sooner, the better. Two conservative originalist law professors, William Baude of the University of Chicago Law School and Michael Stokes Paulson of the University of St. Thomas School of Law, wrote a devastating article in the Pennsylvania Law Review, arguing that Trump is disqualified from running by reason of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Their opinion has been endorsed by retired conservative federal judge J. Michael Luttig and Harvard law professor Lawrence Tribe. Former U.S. Solicitor General Neil Katyal agrees, stating, "There's a very strong case that if he's convicted under the Georgia charges, he's ineligible to serve as president under the 14th Amendment, Section 3. According to Baude and Paulson, however, we do not have to wait that long. They argue that the evidence gathered by the House January 6 committee is enough under Section 3 to bar Trump from even getting on the ballot. He is disqualified, they say, full stop." Republicans have supported Trump out of both sides of their mouths. In February 2021, for example, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell, Kentucky, blamed Trump for fomenting the January 6 Capitol riot but voted in Trump's impeachment proceeding to acquit him anyway of inciting an insurrection. McConnell sharply criticized Trump in a Senate floor speech shortly after Trump was cleared in a 57-43 vote, saying that the rioters were fed wild falsehoods by the most powerful man on earth and that Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day. Yet McConnell, who, as then Senate Majority Leader, rejected calls by Senate Democrats for a speedy trial during Trump's final days in office, said Trump was constitutionally ineligible for conviction since the punishment would be removal from office and Trump already was out. Instead, he said, impeachment was never meant to be the final forum for American justice and Trump could be subject to criminal and civil prosecution in the future. It is ironic that had Republicans voted to convict Trump of high crimes and misdemeanors, he would have been disqualified from holding office again, game over. Now, we face an even more serious problem. In public statements, Trump has sought to undermine confidence in the justice system, and some GOP leaders have added fuel to that fire. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Republican California, decries a two-tier system of justice, not meaning one for the rich and one for the poor, which surely exists, but one for Republicans and one for Democrats. Senator Ted Cruz, Republican Texas, a former Supreme Court law clerk, is shocked that, in the nation's previous 2 centuries, we never once had a POTUS indicted, a former POTUS indicted, a leading candidate for president indicted. And we've seen in the past year that happened, for separate times. Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican South Carolina, thinks the issue of Trump's criminality should be settled by the voters at the ballot box instead of liberal jurisdictions trying to put the man in jail. Like many others, he evidently thinks federal and state criminal laws don't apply to incumbent or former presidents who try to topple the Constitution they swore to preserve and defend. I think Trump will lose the criminal cases brought against him. He really has no defense on the merits. So that is one reason why he is taking to the court of public opinion, trying to acquit himself by extrajudicial means. As recently as last weekend, he trashed District Judge Tanya Chutkan, an Obama appointee, on Truth Social as highly partisan and very biased and unfair before she had even made a substantive ruling in his case. Among others, Judge Luttig has condemned Trump's remarks in the strongest terms. The former president's comments and attacks on the federal judiciary and on the specific individual judges who will preside over his trials are unprecedented in American history. They are a grave disservice to the nation. They are inexcusable. And they imperil the former president himself, in the defense of his actions on January 6, before the juries that will hear his case. Trump's prosecutors have not been immune from a drumbeat of vilification either. New York District Attorney Alvin Bragg, who mounted the alleged hush money case, is, according to Trump, a degenerate psychopath. Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith is deranged, sick and a maniac, in Trump's words, while Fulton County, GOP, prosecutor Fani Willis is corrupt, a Biden lackey and responsible for Atlanta's rising crime rate. Trump also falsely claimed without evidence that she had an affair with a gang member. At this point, voters might reasonably ask themselves, how could Republicans ever save America from Democrats and their liberal policies, if they can't save themselves from Trump?